Cyberpunk's gonna get me in trouble.
I was gonna. Okay.
What do you have? No. It's just you were quiet a little too long.
I was trying to think. I was trying to figure out how to formulate the thought, and I know it's the kind of thing that we've talked about before, but how many people know that C-3PO was built by Anakin?
Like real world or in the universe?
In the universe, in the Star Wars universe.
Well, that's that whole joke. R2-D2 is just kind of weirdly quiet about everything.
There's something. Oh no! At the end of Revenge, both their memories are wiped.
I don't think his was. I think C-3PO's was. I don't think R2-D2's was.
I mean, that'd be a sneaky ass R2 move as well.
Yeah, I think that canon, and I could be totally wrong, and comment or stop yelling at me. I think canonly, I think that R2-D2 weirdly knows everything, but he's just not telling anyone. Like, sneaky little bitch.
It's like nobody asked.
Yeah, it's like it's not a lie. It's just no one point blank asked me. So,
but no, I was sitting there. I was like, who in Star Wars universe knows that C-3PO was built by Darth Vader?
Yeah, well, because everyone that would know is dead.
Yeah.
Like, who would know? His mom would know. She died. Qui-Gon Jinn would know. He died.
Obi-Wan killed.
Oh, I guess Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but like even still, like Obi-Wan is only alive in A New Hope in the later, at the beginning.
So he never, because even Obi-Wan is really like that whole bullshit of like, Darth Vader killed your father. It's like, yeah. Can we stop with the fucking mysticism in this conversation? Please just be straightforward with the kid. Yeah.
He was preparing him for Yoda.
Yeah, right. There's a little green frog I know that will really fuck with you. What is it? Little green man on ketamine convinces son to kill father.
Oh yeah,
is that the movie? What is it?
Like badly described movie or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess no one. But then it's weird too, because then if you talk about the Darth Vader comic book series that Marvel came out with, he makes a new
yeah.
And C-3PO is this version, I can't remember what his name is, but this version of C-3PO is like a master of torture.
Yeah.
And then his new R2-D2 is like an arson specialist, like with explosives and stuff, which is to me a little on the nose. Like, oh yeah, Darth Vader's a bad guy. He's going to make these, I was like, I thought it was cool, but I was also like, that's like Despicable Me level of villain. You know what I mean? Where you're like,
yeah, but it's like, but not in a cartoony fun way.
Yeah.
Because that's like, they're like committing murders and shit.
Yeah. Like it's pretty dark, but I don't know. But yeah, I guess no one would until like, here's the question. Do they ever find out?
I don't know. This is like more of a thing to ponder on than like find the answer right now because we're also running late. Or running
no, totally. But you started it.
I know.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's
mixtape. That was actually kind of a fitting little talk in the middle there. We don't really. I'm not gonna air that, but. Going into this movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, yeah. Huh, interesting. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
You don't get to know what we said.
As I always say, ignore the man behind the curtain. Hello, everyone.
How's everybody? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I mean, it's been a Happy New Year for a minute, I guess.
For them.
Yeah. Time travel. I'm in a really weird mood today.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Welcome back. And yeah, we are now officially starting off our movies for this year. And if you didn't catch what we're doing last week's episode, we're going to just do 3 kind of like movies within the last decade or so that like were kind of like bigger movies or like critically acclaimed movies that we missed. So these are all movies we have not seen.
Correct.
And we also decided to focus on it being more female-led as well. Female cast-led. because looking back on our, the length of our not our discography, our episodography.
The discography would work. I mean, that's what even stand-up comedians, if you go on Spotify, it's their discography.
Yeah, but that's an album. Like, these are episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, if you look back at our train wreck.
If you look at the train wreck of this podcast.
Track record. Our track record, we definitely, as we tend to, have a specific type of movie we like fall into, which is sci-fi, fantasy,
fantasy, action. Yeah, we're trying to break that mold.
Trying to branch out a little bit more. Yeah.
So can you just tell them what we're doing? Long-winded.
Why don't you tell them?
We are doing 2018's The Favorite.
Yes. Do you want to give a quick synopsis?
Well, first, let's start with, did you like this?
I loved it.
I loved it. Cool. All right. I just like to, kind of get the vibe. Synopsis. A love triangle goes south at the royal court in 1750s Great Britain.
Yes. Based on
true events.
Well, true historical people.
Yes. The love triangle thing is, we're not sure.
And the actual events of what happened to these people in senses of being exiled and so forth. And
the director wanted to keep it loosey-goosey to tell this story.
Yes.
Whether based on real people, but it was let's have fun with it, I guess. Have creative control.
Yeah.
To kind of make the narrative that we want.
Yes.
And did it pretty well, actually.
Which I'm still trying to figure out what the message of this movie is as well, because it's Yorgos, and there's something he's trying to say. We'll deliberate with that later.
I think I know what it is.
I mean, I look forward to our actual conversation through the review because let's
get into the director.
Yeah. Well, this was released. Yeah, like you said, 2018. It was in 2018, just a slew of festivals. Were premiered in the Venice Film Festival,
the 75th Venice International Film Festival, and won 2 awards in that, actually.
Oh, word! I mean, that also won. It was nominated for best film and stuff and the best actress won, nominated for best supporting actresses. But it didn't have its official release in full theaters in the United States until December 21st. So full couple of months of film festival stuff. But really quick in 2018 movie count.
I got 29 versus 27 when we did Hereditary in episode 160. So
I have 30.
Nice.
Yeah.
But cause it's funny because that was just last Halloween.
Not too long ago,
yeah. I actually remember too. I could actually look at it and go, oh yeah, I did watch that in the months that have followed since that episode. So that was kind of cool to actually be able to. The book. This is my book, and I keep all the notes in the book.
Okay. We have actually done this director before. A long time ago. A while ago.
Episode 71.
Mm-hmm. It was our second Valentine's. We were doing Weird Valentine's.
We did A24. No, it was A24 block.
Oh, yeah, because we did Swiss Army Man too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
And real quick, I just want to say episode 71, The Lobster. I remember that being a good episode. Listen to it.
That's a good episode.
That was a good conversation. That was a weird...
It's a weird movie. So, I mean, and I'm going to put Yorgos Lanthimos, he has an aesthetic.
Yes, this is his vibe. Yeah. But it's also interesting. It's in the vein of A24, but it's not super A24. Because remember, I was really fucking tired of A24 for a minute. I was like, I get it. You're weird. You're quirky. I understand. No, but this has that kind of vibe, but it's not that strange.
Yeah. No, it's like...
Why are you laughing at me?
I was thinking of I eat my cake for breakfast.
Oh, yeah. I'm a quirky serial killer.
It's... This movie, it's more of a black comedy, if anything. I saw dramedy.
I saw a really good term for it. I can't remember now. But
it's also a period piece, set in the 1700s.
1705.
Okay, early 1700s. So 18th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, so Yorgos, we've done The Lobster. He just recently a movie that just came out, Poor Things,
which looks really cool.
I've heard good things about it.
Have you? I didn't hear about it.
And then we've also
talked about Killing of the Sacred Deer.
When we did The Lobster, we were like, oh yeah, Killing of the Sacred Deer and Dogtooth, sound really interesting.
We should watch those, and we never did.
We have to watch so much stuff already.
I started putting asterisks now to really
our repeats.
Well, yeah, and of things of we talked about this and we said we were going to watch it a year ago and never got around to it. So we got to watch that.
So this was written originally. That's a weird way to say it, but it was written by Deborah Davis, who wrote this script back in 1998.
And it was the original title was The Balance of Power.
Yeah. Which makes that makes sense. I like that name as well for this as well. She was going to night school for writing, but she was a lawyer. Let me pull up her wiki really quick. No, what's going on? It has a background in practicing law and journalism. Then she earned an MA from the University of Anglia. Yeah, so she's only as a writer has this, and then the 2022 Marie Antoinette television series,
which I thought was funny because I find these because we did Marie Antoinette, the Kirsten Dunst one, and there is a very similar vibe in the whole taking the history and kind of running with it a little bit, but I just thought it was funny because a lot of people kind of shat on Marie Antoinette for not being very accurate.
But she wrote a different Marie Antoinette.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking because it made me think of when we were doing reviews and stuff. The people really shat on the historical inaccuracy for Marie Antoinette, and people didn't really seem to care with this.
Because this, in my opinion, is a much better movie.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't have kicked Marie Antoinette. But
I mean, we like the movie, but I mean, Sofia Coppola took a lot of liberties with that story and stylistically with that movie in a lot of ways too.
I guess that's fair in a sense too, because a lot of Marie Antoinette's history is proven. There's actual things that there's documentation, and with this whole thing. There's a lot of maybe they did, maybe they did.
This is a lot of it was from Winston Churchill's own research of his family.
Yeah, there's more room for speculation in this situation, I guess,
because it's all just what is actually in proven documents, court documents, and then letters that have
been sent.
Yeah, so yeah, so Deborah Davis, doing research on all this stuff, was working on the script, and then she sent the script to studios, and then there was one producer, forget their name,
CC Dempsey.
Yes, thank you, and was really liked it, and what took it to studios, and it was without a male lead, and it's about, there's lesbianism in it, and it's this is going to be a hard sell, and it just took forever for it to kind of get somewhere until Yorgos Lanthimos was presented with it and had some interest. Another producer, was it Ed Guiney, obtained the script in 2008, and then with Yorgos Lanthimos, Tony McNamara, the others credited writer on this, who's worked with...
I would say screenplay, probably?
Yeah, screenplay more.
Probably more.
I mean, probably both. I mean, I think Deborah Davis did write a screenplay, but Tony McNamara then made it a screenplay that Yorgos would want to do more.
Yeah, I couldn't really find actual writing on what they did. But
I was trying to figure that out.
Maybe a script doctor.
There could have. I mean, we don't know. I don't know what Deborah Davis's original script was.
Yeah,
if there was an actual because Queen Anne at this time was married still, but the absence of the king in this movie is very strange, but fits for the narrative that Yorgos is trying to tell.
Yeah, digest. Yeah,
and then the whole thing with the rabbits and whatnot. Queen Anne did lose 17 children. That's so fucking many. That just the mental shit that would do to someone. She didn't. bunnies and rabbits like that, like what she has in the movie, at that time would not have been a thing because that was just they were just like rodents or food. Like rabbits weren't kept as like pets.
I mean, the queen can. They're quirky. They're royalty. It's not the weirdest thing we've heard about royalty.
No, not at all. But there's no documentation. Like she didn't like that. That did not happen.
Yeah,
she did not have that.
Yeah, that was a.
Yeah, that's definitely that was an added thing for this narrative.
Yeah,
that they were trying to tell with this. But yeah, so created, developed, written by Deborah Davis. Then Tony McNamara took over with Yorgos Lanthimos, and then we got the movie we got today. You want to move into starring now?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
that would be that
was a lot of
step.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of for just like the production of this movie.
I like to go into that though. You know?
No, I do too, but it's just like, yeah. So let's like actually, because I mean, I really only wrote down 4 names. Because
I only wrote down 3.
Okay, so one of my favorites, starring Olivia Coleman, who plays Queen Anne, who I was introduced to by a good old friend.
Peep Show.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're listening, you know who you are.
Yeah,
a show called Peep Show, which used to make me so uncomfortable.
It's a very uncomfortable show.
Have some turkey. Have some turkey. I would have to leave the room because I would get so uncomfortable. And my friend loved that show and would watch it all the time because it's a great show. But
we had a handful of friends that really liked that show.
Yeah, Peep Show's fucking rad.
But she was also in The Lobster.
I don't remember. I wrote that with a question mark because I don't remember her.
You don't remember the hotel clerk?
Not really.
Okay.
She's also in Hot Fuzz. I do remember her in Hot Fuzz.
She's recently been in The Crown. She played Queen Elizabeth.
Interesting. She's in an episode of Black Books, which is another great if you like Peep Show and like the original Office and stuff. That's a Dylan Moran's show.
Oh, okay.
Where he owns a like secondhand bookshop. Have you never watched it? I think you would really like it.
There's a lot of British comedy in general that has.
Would it be crazy to say that Olivia is probably really prominent in the UK more so than here? I feel like people may not really know.
Yes, 100%. Okay. Because her rise to fame was
she's from
the UK.
The UK.
Yeah.
But it's also like I really know her because I've watched so much British television and movies that have seen. It's one of those faces I've seen throughout the years, so I recognized her really hard.
Yeah,
I just wasn't sure if I was.
I mean, she's a fantastic actress.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love her.
I wanted.
And she's in Wonka apparently.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I really want to know how they did the stroke face, like if they like numbed her face or if that was like makeup or prosthetic.
My gut from watching that scene, I think it was really good prosthetics.
It's amazing prosthetics.
I think it was just really good makeup.
Could you? I wouldn't put it past Yorgos and Olivia Coleman to commit. Like, I'm just gonna numb side of your face, bro. Like,
I think that's a little extreme.
It's not because I don't think if you have a proper anesthesia doing it, it's not gonna cause nerve damage. You're just gonna.
It's pretty extreme.
Shia LaBeouf ripped his own tooth out for a movie. All right,
that's pretty extreme. Like, I don't know what you're trying to convince me of. It's all pretty extreme. I think
if it was for Yorgos Lanthimos, I would do some crazy shit.
I think it was prosthetics.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Olivia Coleman. You're great. We love you.
Queen Anne, yes.
You're awesome.
I got Emma Stone next.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, they're both... No one is more important in this movie.
Yeah, I do feel like Emma Stone's role is a little... It's just like... Her journey seems to be kind of like the more prominent in a weird way.
I think you're right but at a point it switches again.
Yeah. Well, because it kind of it alternates with all 3 of them more or less. But like the way, because especially we'll talk about the ending. and that's where it's where I'm like, bleh.
But let's just talk about Emma Stone for a second. Holy shit.
Amazing.
Good job.
Dude.
You rocked in this movie.
She's such an amazing actress.
Because it's so Emma Stone, Easy A, Superbad, House Bunny, Zombieland.
It's really fun to see kind of where she's starting out in these comedies, raunchy-ish comedies and whatnot, moving into this weird absurdist, because she's starting to do in the last decade, started to do the most off the wall,
It's fun
psychological, cerebral stuff.
It's fun with Emma Stone because it's like we're growing up with her. Mm-hmm. Not in the sense of like Harry Potter where they're actually like, but it's like watching her early career. It's like I've loved Emma Stone forever. Like Easy A is one of my favorite comedies. I think she was
in Malcolm in the Middle for a short period of time.
I saw that, yeah. Which I don't remember, and I watched.
It's like the later season.
Oh, I didn't really watch the later stuff, but she was always this really funny, charismatic. She's almost like a manic pixie dream girl in a lot of stuff, right?
Kind of.
I still don't. Okay, I'm gonna take that back. Retract that from the record, Your Honor, because I still really don't understand the concept of that. Obviously, from when we were talking about it last time, but watching her get into this stuff, like even that I saw that scene of her in Michael Keaton and Birdman. Still haven't watched it, but I saw their interaction, and I was like, "Whoa!"
She's fantastic in that too. Yeah,
well, I was like, "Wow, this is seeing her in this like in this, she's kind of conniving and she's sneaky and she's saying these really passive things, and you're like, you're evil.
You should watch some like she's hosted SNL at least once, and her skits, I think you would her commitment to the characters that she does, she's just fucking brilliant. She's so good.
She is definitely like my top celebrity crush. I realized.
No,
I always forget until I watch her, and I'm like, I love her. She's pretty and she's funny. And in this, she's
awkward.
She's just great. But yeah, Emma Stone also just fucking killed it.
And then we got Rachel Weisz.
And Rachel Weisz also, I'm in love with you too. I have been since The Mummy.
I am a librarian.
Yeah, so we have actually talked about Rachel a couple times in episode 124 with The Mummy and episode 71 with Lobster.
Yes.
I thought this was funny. She was in Aragorn, whatever the fuck.
The dragon movie?
Yeah, so we were talking about that. But then also I just bought the new book.
Aragorn, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh.
No, I haven't. It was really, looking at her list, is like, I haven't seen a lot of movies that she's in, actually. Like,
is she in About a Boy?
I think so.
I think I saw Grant's that. Yeah. Romance, yeah.
Like, it's really interesting, like, to see, kind of wrapping it all together, is like how many, like, Rachel Weisz has worked with Yorgos twice now. Yorgos and Tony McNamara have worked together on Poor Things and this, and I think maybe something else. And then Emma Stone has worked on 3 things written by Tony McNamara: Poor Things, this, and Cruella.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in Cruella.
She plays Cruella.
Yeah. I didn't care for that movie.
I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
but it's like I don't know. Just like looking at this, I'm like, there's like all of like this little like. They all like know each other in weird ways.
Well, yeah, I mean that's not we've stumbled upon that a few times.
It's just like, it's like to see it with Yorgos though. I really like, because I really like him, and I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to see Poor Things, and I'm really excited to see more of what he creates.
I'm really in the mood for more of this, so I might watch Poor Things tonight.
It's only in theaters.
Oh really?
Yeah, it just came out.
Oh. But it's 2024.
Are you ready to go into reviews?
I miss the days of streaming everything. Yeah.
Tommy misses the pandemic.
Get us in trouble. All right, yeah, give us our scores.
All right, so on IMDb, this got a 7.5.
Really?
Mm-hmm. What did you think it was going to be higher?
Yeah, that seems really low to me.
Well, here you go. On Rotten Tomatoes, tomato meter 93.
There you go.
And then audience score 70.
There it is.
Yeah, you see.
There it is.
This is a movie very critically acclaimed, but I can see like this isn't for everybody. It's a very slow paced, and I can see a lot of people having their weird problems with the lesbianism in it, and
that's like the best part of the movie.
Well, no, the best part, I mean, in a sense of like the fact that they're just treated as like, it's not like, oh my God, they're lesbians. It's like they're just women that are having a weird love triangle.
Well, yeah, no, but that moment, sorry, spoiler spoiler alert, I guess, because that's kind of like I went into this very blind.
I had no idea.
And then she's in that whole scene in the library.
No,
I was
yeah,
like,
she's like,
I was like, oh, we have ourselves a situation.
like, oh, what is happening?
It was amazing. First, like you're saying, it's a slow paced movie, and there's like a what a twist moment, and you're like. I didn't even consider that an option.
I was like making notes like, oh yeah, this is a social commentary on the higher ups and like people in power are actually masked by the people behind, like there's actually other people controlling it than like the figurehead, blah, 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 blah. And like, especially like watching the duck race, I was like, oh, that's a metaphor for how like the small people that they control and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden the fuck me. And I was like, what?
No, it's an amazing moment. I was like, all right.
I stopped taking notes. This is a different. It's still that movie, but it just got so much more complex.
Well, because even then, it's like they did this with like I did end up rewatching it.
We're talking. We need to do your
okay.
We're jumping ahead.
So yes, on Metacritic, it has a 91 out of 100. So universal acclaim, positive 52, mixed 1. 0 negative.
Sounds about right.
So this, I read a lot of. I had to go through the 52 reviews to find. Usually, I find like I can jump around and find one that kind of gets the point across. So okay. Okay. So the one I picked for positive, 100 out of 100 by Lee Marshall at Screen Daily. The Favorite is one of those rare films where the energy generated by the three talents at the top of their game and energy generated by their characters swirl and merge in a perfect storm.
That's a great way to put it.
Yes.
And I really like what's interesting is like I think the performances steal the show and kind of like
explain yourself.
Like from the narrative of the movie and what is like the message or whatever Yorgos is saying, like whatever this movie is like about and is like exploring, the performances of Olivia, Emma, and Rachel are so spectacular that you're caught in the performance, and what's happening in the movie just kind of comes second.
That's funny that you say that because I was just scrolling down to the mix and I just saw 88 out of 100. Moira McDonald, The Seattle Times. Hey, how you doing, Moira? The real fun here is the three central performances, each of which threatens to steal the film, giving The Favorite appropriately its own balance of power issues.
Yeah.
Literally what you were just talking, I just happened to look, I was like, you guys are saying the same thing right here. So, hey, Moira, nice. Yeah, that's right on.
That validates me.
It makes me feel good. And then the one mixed, which I thought was hilarious. 58 out of 100 by Peter Rainier. Weird. At the Christian Science Monitor.
What was I saying about the lesbianism?
The actresses are so expert, especially Coleman, with her grievous, hard-bitten woe, that you may not care. But if one is to mock this sort of historical extravaganza, I much prefer the nut-brain Mighty Python approach to all this deep dish folderol. I looked that up. I can't remember what it is.
Folderol?
Yeah.
Fuldral?
So fold-ol. So fold EROL. Trivial or nonsensical fuss.
Could have just said trivial. Okay.
They're trying to be fancy. But like even with what you were saying, they didn't bring up the lesbian thing. They just were like, eh.
Oh, but this historical inaccurate
to mock this historical extravaganza.
Yeah. Like you know what he's saying.
I prefer Monty Python. I don't know. To compare this to like Monty Python because they're British, I don't know. I'm like, that's kind of a weird. Because as a big Monty Python fan, I'm like, no, Monty Python is a completely different,
different entity.
Yeah, they're both British.
Okay, so
they're both
UK. I wrote down about like the main thing about this movie is just like how it explores this like intricacies and power dynamics between like social status and love. And I really think that it's like, and that's like, I don't know how to really encapture that into like a theme. I mean, I guess that's the theme, but like that, it's a more of a sentence. Like it's like this movie is like capturing an idea of something in a moment of time. Does that make sense? That's why I'm struggling with like what is like the message of this movie.
I think it's kind of more like at this point in time what especially women would do to get power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Because you're talking about both of these women, I don't know. That's what's interesting too, because it like you could kind of argue both ways that at least actually what's her name again? Sarah, right? Sarah?
Oh,
Lady Sarah, yeah. Rachel. Like you could argue like this back and forth of does she actually care about the queen or is it really just the power thing?
And I really think she does care about the queen.
I think she does.
No, and that's the thing. Is like that's kind of the heartbreaking thing is that you watch Abigail, Emma Stone's character, have this rise in social status by like pretty much sabotaging the relationship between Sarah and Anne for only her own gain. And then when she wins, like she then is put back into the power dynamic that she thought she was escaping from men.
Well, yeah, but she also doesn't understand that Lady Sarah was running the show.
Yes,
she
exactly.
was taking on the responsibility. But that's the thing with Lady Sarah.
It wasn't just a love for Anne; it was also a love for the country.
It's like I think that with Lady Sarah, it was actually like I do care about this person, but I also need to keep her in check to keep the country in check.
And Sarah is an ancestor of Winston Churchill.
Yes. Great aunt or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm. She's Sarah Churchill in this. She is a Churchill. But yeah, which is then you got Queen Anne.
What a badass family.
It's Churchill's.
Yeah,
right?
Jesus.
You got Queen Anne who really, since she's just been in royalty, she's been pampered. There's moments of like this childlikeness to her.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, though, because even if she was very sickly her entire life.
She was pampered and
she's
babied.
Very pampered, you know. And I think she died at like 47 or something from a stroke. Man. She was
for that time.
Yeah, it's pretty old. 1705, 47. Yeah. You're an old broad at that point.
Way to put it. So
that is actually right.
It's interesting to see where after all this, where their stories end. So because of how Abigail pretty much constructs a way for Sarah to not be accepted back by the queen by burning the letter, and then the queen exiles Sarah. And that's that moment when Sarah's seeing the carriages come up and she's like, I've grown tired of England. And which is a sad ending for her because she's now the person that she's loved for so long and the country that she's loved has just abandoned her. And then you have Abigail at the very end who is sitting on top of her social status but completely unregardance of Queen Anne and the country. And when she squishes the bunny and Queen Anne notices that and Queen Anne sees her for the monster that she truly is. And then Queen Anne in a grasp of power, rub my legs. And that final scene is so uncomfortable because it feels just very unconsensually sexual. Like when she grabs her hair and just like the rocking and it's at her pelvis and that the shot of Queen Anne and she's just like it's an angle that's that angle is a specific like shot to create this sense of power for a person, but then like her face like she just looks just grotesque and just angry and she's like it's so uncomfortable and then the rabbits coming in. And then the images all coming together for this like final like shot, going to just blackness. It's like everyone is just kind of like falls back into the world, the sad world that they wanted to escape.
I mean, that's the most A24 vibe
of the entire
movie with the rabbits and just average life expectancy. Sorry, just 36.
Oh, of people back then,
and the 1700s. So 47 is but especially being sickly too. You know, well, your royalty. So
yeah, they're keeping her alive. Yeah,
they're keeping her alive at that point.
Weekend at Queen Anne's.
Weird. Another Seattle. I don't know, Peter Rainier, and then the Seattle Times writer, and then Queen Anne. And
we live in a simulation.
It's all. Take my money. Like it's the thing. The thing about this movie that really sells it is like you and Moira really nailed it on the head. Is like you kind of even Nicholas Hoult.
Oh yeah, that was the shout. Was that your fourth?
Yeah, my honorable. Yeah. Even Nicholas Hoult is a great because he also has this really interesting arc where he is very like aware of what Lady Sarah is doing.
Yes,
but because of her standing as the favorite, which was a common practice to have someone in the court kind of be a representative of the queen in case something happened, which is what Lady Sarah was, and then Abigail was. But it's like he is very aware of what's going on, but he knows his place and he can't really do anything about it. Yeah. And you see that when he like he gets up in her face, and you're like, he wants to hit her so bad because he just sees this. He sees that as like he is she is manipulating the queen.
That's how he sees it. Yeah.
And he does not like it, but he knows he can't do a goddamn thing about it.
Well, and also it's like he is also he wants, what is it, the war to continue, or no?
He wants a truce.
That's right.
To keep the war going, they're gonna have to raise taxes, and what he is basically worried about is a civil war within the country.
Yeah,
because it's gonna start pissing people off. Because this needs to. They're at war with France, and France, they want to do a truce. They want to end it. But Sarah is very adamant about continuing the war going.
That's right.
And raising taxes to do that. And then Nicholas Holt's character is like, we will then be fighting a war within our own walls if you continue this. Not only money-wise, you're going to raise taxes, but then also, like, he makes a point about the bodies building builds resentment.
Yeah.
So if you keep killing our people's sons and fathers, they will then revolt against us.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, we need to stop. So he's very quiet, but he's a very interesting character that's kind of pulling,
because his motives like are very much they look as very like selfish.
He's a perfect parallel to Sarah. He also cares about the country, but they both think they're doing the best for their country.
Yeah.
But also with Sarah, though, there is these moments where you feel like and Abigail does it too. And that's what's really like interesting is this whole dynamic that kind of builds is there are these moments where you're like, oh, they think they're doing the right thing. But then there's also moments where you're like, I kind of think you're just a little power hungry. You're a little tripping on power right now.
You get it. You definitely, that's where Abigail's like journey kind of like ends. Goes.
Yeah, but Sarah also does it. There's moments where you're like, I think you're kind of just power high right now, and you're just kind of doing shit to do shit because you can.
I think a lot of that was like she was demonstrating the power that she can have. It's like she's flexing. She's not being like, I am more.
Well, that's what I meant by power high. Yeah. She's flexing a little.
Yeah.
You're like, you're just kind of showing off
like,
your muscles.
Yeah, but she's doing it to make a point. To be like, look how much power I have that I don't use. Test me, bitch. Like,
well, I mean, Nicholas does that too with Abigail when he pushes her down the hill.
Oh yeah, that was really funny actually.
He's just kind of like.
And, okay, I just got to point out as well, is like it's one of the best things of this movie is I feel like the audience's relationship with Abigail as we relate to her at the beginning.
Yeah, you feel bad for her.
You feel bad for her, and you want her to like succeed.
But you watch her turn,
and you watch her become this monster, and then you're like, "Oh, what happened to you? You were the chosen one."
Does it destroy the Sith, not join them? I hate you. Then the pushing the hey, he had the high ground. Nicholas Hoult had the high ground. No, but also I want to point out too, it's like for something like this movie blew me away both visually as well and musically.
The fish lens use was really weird.
That was weird, but there's the one scene that really sticks out in my mind is that Emma Stone is sitting there and she looks like a painting, especially with her really porcelain pale skin. She's sitting there up against the wall and she's just sitting completely still, and they do this shot where they just kind of still and she's not moving and she looks like she is like a 1700s painting. And it blew me away. I was like, that was really unnecessary, but that was really cool.
Do you remember what moment that was?
She's sitting in the bed chamber. I think it's...
Is it towards the end?
No, it's like it's in the beginning.
Okay.
Like the halfway mark. It's after she becomes a handmaid.
Okay.
To the queen, when she starts like poking, she starts prodding and putting ideas in her head. But yeah, she's just sitting there with her, sitting with her dress and her hands draped, and she just doesn't move until I think the queen talks to her, and then she looks up, and then you're like, oh, like right, that's
you're a person.
Like I thought that scene was like, I wish I wrote down when it happened, but it was so cool. I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
For stuff like that.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that makes this movie, it captures you.
Yeah, but not thinking about it, I didn't really notice that until you just mentioned it. The fish lens thing is kind of a lot and really kind of random.
Yeah, no,
it's kind of cool though.
I wanted to know why. I didn't get the what it was like.
I mean, it could have been just as simple to make the shot more interesting.
I mean, it could have just been like the shot or just the camera that they had, and just I don't know, just like. Fish lens like things always just like it just looks. I hate the distortion of the bubble like idea around. Like I feel like it went. Do you have a like? I've been deliberating on an idea and I can't really formulate the thought properly.
I'm interested actually to rewatch it and see when they do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like because I think it's very purposeful.
I think it's when there's discourse happening.
Maybe because there's also a lot of times that like it was used through a lot of like sweeping motions of like walking through the peasant's house,
but they're always talking to someone.
Yeah,
there's always a dialogue happening. So what's happening in that dialogue? It might be a theme.
Yeah,
for maybe a lie, like distorting the image.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
So it might be interesting to go back and watch it and kind of pay attention to. And this is something that I
definitely do want to rewatch it, but
because it's so dialogue heavy too that they're even watching it the 2 times I did. I was like I didn't realize she had gout the first time watching it.
Oh, you didn't catch that?
No.
Oh,
and I was like, when then watching it the second time, I was like, oh, that makes sense. That was very much a royalty. That was called the king's disease because only people that had excess could get it.
Sorry. Just made me remember one of my favorite moments in the entire movie is when Abigail like tells Nicholas Holt's character kind of like what's happening, and then like though they're not gonna pull the troops, whatever, and then he stands up like, I just want to say that it's so wonderful that you're doing like says that she's gonna do the complete opposite, and the queen's just what is, and then like collapse like
I think one of my best favorite moments is they're talking about the war with France, and then Rachel Weisz says, "Is there cake?" Very pointed to Nicholas Hoult, which I felt like was a Marie Antoinette kind of like right. When did Marie Antoinette happen? No, that
happens later. That happens later.
Yeah, that happens later.
Yeah,
that was like 18. I can't remember.
I think it's the turn of the century.
Ah, bummer.
Yeah.
But then also I was just thinking about Kyle Kinane. Hi, Kyle. Have you ever listened to this? Because he talks about having gout.
Oh, yeah.
I got gout! Not being real brave or nothing. It's a real dumb disease. Okay, so then what? I mean, that's also kind of the thing is that it's kind of, you end up kind of rooting for both of them in a weird way, but the movie changes your own moral compass because you start living with these characters a little bit, because at the end of the day, they're gaslighting this poor sick woman a lot. They're gaslighting her a lot of the time.
I don't feel like Sarah is. Sarah, she even says it. I am honest with you.
True. Yeah, but
I tell you look like a badger, because you look like a badger.
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know. There's these moments, and again, maybe I'm just missing something. There's just these moments where you just feel like she's really just grasping for power. And it makes sense though, because she feels like this. She basically feels like Queen Anne is unfit to rule.
No,
loves her.
Yeah. Well,
as a
she
person.
sees that Queen Anne doesn't really. Also, Queen Anne doesn't want to. She admits that she doesn't. Want this.
So she kind of like is like, well, someone has to.
Yeah.
So I will take it out. Great power, responsibility.
Yeah.
Yada, yada. Yeah, that's fair.
And
it is really interesting watching Abigail's like descent into.
Yeah.
This is the villain, and they really did a great job of like and it's slow, but it's cool. It makes you believe it. It's not like suddenly she's a dickhead, she like slowly.
Definitely, there's, and I was trying to find like where and what was Abigail's, like, trying to figure out like Abigail's desire for this, like other than just like I just want to be in a higher sense of social status, like. Where's the click in the moment where you see her, that's her narrative, her destination, her choice. What's the word I'm looking for? Her goal, because she's sent to the house, and that was also very awkward. So just some dude jerking off in front of her in the carriage, just like, yeah, that's public transportation for you.
It happens today.
Exactly. It was like fucking way accurate, way real.
So it's nice to know some things never change.
But yeah, it's like she's I don't know, like I was trying to figure out that moment why she decides she has to take Sarah's spot with Anne.
I think it's like I just kind of, I don't know if this is the right word, but it almost like pettiness in a sense. Like it's like this weird marking of territory, because she starts, wanting, she wants to elevate herself, obviously, from what we know about her past. But then I think Sarah starting to get defensive kicks off her attack mode.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if pettiness is the right way, but I think that they could have just had a conversation about it. None of this would have happened, kind of thing. But they basically, Sarah getting defensive, they start one-upping each other, and it just gets to a point where, well, now the only place to go is really far, because there's nothing else we can really do. Because it goes from petty to drugging and like attempted murder. Like,
I mean, I guess it could also just be this like sense of survival for Abigail.
Well, that's what I mean, is because she's trying to get to this point of comfortability.
Because I'm also like,
she gets married.
Yes, but I just remember like these things that happened are like, these moments are documented in actual history.
Yeah.
So like Abigail did become the Queen's new favorite in real life, and Sarah was exiled from England in real life. So then what would cause a person to do all that is pretty much like a sense of comfort, a survival instinct of, like, if you're on top, you can't be defeated.
Yeah, but and I think also that if this has any depiction of maybe what possibly happened is, and there are letters and everything like that, it's like Sarah getting defensive that her status is, and so she started kind of attacking. Then Abigail's survival instincts would kick in, and so that, but then it just becomes a tit for tat. I
guess like I don't really know how to put it into like a simpler word or term, but like this movie is really like it's just more of a story of like the intricacies of power balance and the of status and in love as well.
Yeah, and then they just do it very much
the complications of that, and
they just do it very through the lens of a woman. Yeah, because I mean, like if you kind of think that, I mean, this is kind of like the Boylan Girl. Is that what that movie's called? I think is that what it's called? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
It's another period piece, and it's but it's, is that what it's called? The Other Boylan Girl. It's Natalie Portman, Eric Bana, and Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's an older one, right?
Yeah. But it's like similar kind of, right? Because it's about
But I guess
about King Henry. Oh yeah, wow.
This is what it. Like, I'm trying to figure out like what is this saying about today's society, because that's a big thing with Yorgos. Is there's like with the lobster, he's making a point of like it's a reflection of like the world we live in today.
Yeah, but do you know that he's trying to do that in this? Because you're assuming from the one other one we've done.
Just like even like reading the little bits of like the killing of Sacred Dogtooth, he's making commentary in a very absurd and large way of like the world we live in.
I mean,
that's why I'm saying I'm trying to figure out what. Like, I'm not asking for the answer, but like
I just don't know if this movie is doing that, because it's just talking about what, I don't know, like you were saying, this is like this particular moment in time. It's very in its own capsule of what these women went through, especially the two, quote unquote lovers,
but these
keep power.
Yeah, but these power dynamics exist in today's world as well.
Yeah, I just don't know if that's the message we're trying to get into today. And I could be told. I mean, we don't know him. Like, I could be totally wrong.
I mean, in a big sense, like most movies that are made are in this sense are trying to have a message, like a comparison, a message of because why make this movie now? What's the point? Like just oh, that was a cool power dynamic. What is it trying to say?
Or maybe it was just the time, like, being made in 1998. No one was interested in this idea of 3 lesbians power struggle.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Yorgos then took it on.
That's even interesting too. Like, I just thought of it. It's like, with Abigail, it's like is she literally just doing this for power?
Yeah. And
then was Sarah out of all of them, was Queen Anne the only lesbian in this? And they all were just kind of doing it to, you know what I mean? And I'm not yes or knowing anything. I'm just kind of like having a talking through it kind of moment. But it's like kind of like,
yeah, what is all these characters' motives?
Which are like
true motives.
And what is their actual sexual orientation? Because
does that really matter though?
No, but I'm just like wondering, because even Abigail gets married, but it's again a power move. It's to
but then so people using sex for power.
Yeah.
Using it as a form
and
of manipulation.
1705, it's such a hush hush.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's a very interesting. It's a movie that really makes you like think.
I guess if anything, like what it's like is as a reflection of today's society is like you see this, like we still see this every day. Like it's kind of like this is what we see in today's society of people using these power dynamics is not. It's centuries old.
Well, it's also interesting too because it's like a lot of people in power. Then there's so many cases of people in power then use that power to do sexual acts with people that are not consenting to it. But they are consenting to the sexual act to get the power.
Yeah, yes, but there's a power, like that's what I was kind of talking about, that final shot, that final scene.
And then she kind of
it's not, that doesn't feel very consensual. That's a very much like get on your knees and rub my legs.
Well, yeah, but then because now she has seen
exactly
past the veil, Yeah, it's a very interesting movie, and it's, like I said, it's visually it's amazing. The costumes are great. I love that kind of continuing rule of 3 with the shooting.
Oh yeah,
when they go to shoot the ducks and stuff, just because then too they ended on the third one with her Abigail finally kind of really getting in there with the dancing. All she wants to do is dance, and she really can't, so she finds a way to make her dance, and the entire time you hear the gun go, like Lady Sarah at that point is still our villain, and she'd rather go shoot guns and spend time with her lover.
Yeah, that's right.
Abigail's coming in showing her how she can dance. You're like, oh, here's the shift. Here's the shift. It's done. It's over.
I think one of my favorite lines in the entire movie is, I like it when she puts her tongue in me.
Yes.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Woo! I think one of my favorite moments too is the hitting herself with the book.
Oh yeah.
Because you're just like, it's like Fear with Mark Wahlberg, like that. I was just like, ooh, boy, like we are gonna. like that right there is like showing how far she will go.
That's probably like the snapping point where you're like, oh, she's
gonna go. If she goes down, she's taking her with you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And she fucking takes her down.
She takes her the fuck down. Okay. I mean, that's kind of all I have to say about it. Do you want to give it a rating?
4.5.
Yeah, I was going to say a 5.
I think the pacing of it is just a little meh.
That's okay, we'll do 4.5, but it's like for a period piece like this.
It's absolutely amazing.
But I mean, just the pacing, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's like, it's close to a fucking 5. Even because I still like the fish lens stuff kind of me. Like,
I mean, yeah, we'll just do 4.5 because, it's a 5 out of 5 is like that's a perfect film. And there's things in this, but
Mad Max Fury Road.
Apparently we're being more nitpicky about it these days than before. We're trying to objectively look at it from a review journalistic standpoint. But I mean, I just need to give a round of applause to those 3 women. They like, holy shit. Y'all killed it. You were like,
it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, like your performances were amazing. I loved Olivia Coleman in that kind of role. I've never seen her like that, and I was just like,
I know,
just distraught and the woe and the pain, and it's just like I believed everything that she was going through, and I really felt it too.
And also just like her manic nature, like when she would like yell at the subjects, like look at me, don't look at me.
Yeah,
like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she just fucking nailed it, and I felt so bad for this woman that was just in this constant state of pain and discomfort, and I don't know, just Olivia Coleman, man, she rocked it, and yeah, all of them did, but I just really fucking believed her. So, and like I said, I've only really seen her in like comedies and stuff, so I haven't really.
Right? Yeah.
It was like this shocking thing, and she's just fucking nailed it. But yeah, okay, so. We got to save the 5 out of 5 for something really just. But 4.5 out of 5, that's the highest one we've done in a minute, I think.
It really is, yeah.
But yeah,
and a great one to kick the year off with.
Yeah, like that was really cool. I'm not seeing it, and sometimes we watch stuff and you're like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. But like this was just rad. Highly recommend it if you're a period piece fan, because this was just, like I said, music, costumes, acting, like just really nailed it. But yeah, so we're giving that a 4.5 out of 5 carrots.
Yeah. Cake, pieces of cake.
We're doing another period piece next week. Little Women, I think?
Yes, we're doing Little Women next week.
The new remake.
The newest one.
Yeah, the newest one, which I don't think I've ever seen any rendition of Little Women, actually.
I saw the 90s one a long time ago.
Oh, with Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
I think Timothée Chalamet is in this one.
Yes, he is. And I think Saoirse Ronan as well.
Ooh. Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Well, you put it on the internet forever.
I said I think.
So yeah, we're doing Little Women. And then I think we're doing Gravity after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Follow us on Instagram to see all promos and everything that's coming up. On those posts, you will see a link tree that will take you to all the places we're podcasting, which is pretty much everywhere that you would listen to: Spotify, Apple, blah blah blah,
all the things,
all that stuff. But yeah, join us next week for Little Women, 2000 something, 18. I think it's
no, I think it's 2020.
Is it 2020?
I think.
Yeah. Well, hey, you'll find out next week.
Yeah.
All right, this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and
Jacob's
Mixtape.
Later.
Happy New Year.